Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's a Thursday. It is May the 7th. It's National Packaging Design Day. I got to tell you, I don't think enough people really appreciate packaging design.
Okay.
Because there are things that are on packaging that you look at and you're like, wow, they put a lot of thought into this. And I think most of the time we just look and go, yep, Frosted Flakes or whatever it is. You just grab it. So good job to those of you who are putting time and effort into that. National Paste Up Day, National Barrier Awareness Day. Be aware of barriers. Otherwise, you can have some fender benders. National Roast Leg of Lamb Day. National Day of Prayer, which is pretty cool. National Day of Reason, which is also pretty cool. And World Password Day. What's your password, Heidi? No,
I'm not telling you.
Don't tell me. Keep that a secret. But it's also a Thursday, so we have a thing called a Dear John letter.
Yes, we do.
Our Dear John letter today is from Suffering Small Business, and it's a person wondering how they should respond to somebody on Facebook. And if you would like to chime in on Facebook, you can do that on our page. I've got the letter there. It's been posted there since yesterday at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Many people have dabbled in the stock market for their very first time ever this year. If you're new to the market, but you don't want to learn things the hard way and the expensive way, I encourage you to subscribe to this free newsletter. You can get the inside track with Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com. Subscribe for free. If you change your mind, just unsubscribe. Sign up for free right now at marketbeatminute.com. That's marketbeatminute.com. Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. An oceanographer did a study, an oceanography study, to be quite specific here. And this oceanography study found that the decrease in cargo ships in the ocean made their oceanography study turn up the fact that coronavirus lockdown has made the ocean far quieter underwater. But that's from an oceanographic study.
Of course it did.
Yeah. I'm not sure what that. I tried to throw in some big words to make it sound smart.
Wow.
I still don't think it helped. Yeah, I don't know. They just found the decrease in cargo ships made it quieter under the ocean.
Yeah, of course it did.
So
they needed to study that.
Paid for that study.
Wow.
So you know. Surveys and studies and such brought to you by, now they don't pay for these studies. They just support this feature. It's called BetterCreditCards.com.
Some credit cards have really high rates or big annual fees. Usually, people sign up for these when it's all they qualify for. If that sounds like you, it may be time to get a better credit card. Over time, your situation changes, and you may qualify for a better credit card. Your current card hopes you don't think about it, but our site shows you many options to see if there's a better credit card for you. Check it out for free at BetterCreditCards.com. That's BetterCreditCards.com.
This is Your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by TimeForRehab.com. It says here, a welcome mat at the front door of a Florida home said, quote, come back with a warrant.
I've seen that.
End quote. And that's what deputies did, and they found drugs and drug paraphernalia inside. This is from, let me see here, to get all the details here. Daytona Beach News Journal reports home in Palm Coast, part of an investigation after seeing the doormat. Authorities say the Flagler County Sheriff's Office did get a warrant, and they found fentanyl and other drug paraphernalia inside a home that was searched late last week. Investigators say there were 4 people inside, but no arrests were made immediately. Florida Department of Children and Families were contacted regarding a child that was in the home that had the drugs, so... Yeah, it's not a smart thing to do if you really do have stuff in there that needs a search warrant. I'm just saying. That's supposed to be funny.
It's supposed to be a joke. Yeah, it's supposed to be a joke doormat, not...
It's like, I'm going to put this out so they can't come in. Bad idea. That's the kind of thing that happens, though, when your brain is on drugs. Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. Heidi, you're going to love this. I got 2 stories back-to-back that are about the same thing, and it's kind of interesting. AMC movie theaters released a statement saying they will no longer show any movies by Universal Pictures after the production company released Trolls World Tour online during lockdown.
I remember that.
So we discussed this last week, and I was saying I think that's a bad idea because now they're, they don't make movies at AMC. They just show movies other people make.
Okay.
So they're saying, we're not playing your movies anymore. So listen to this. The new Trolls movie has made more money for Universal Pictures in 3 weeks of renting on TVs than the original did with 5 months in theaters.
Oh, boy.
So these theaters are probably going to be going, please keep showing movies here. Because what happens if the other companies all say, more money in 3 weeks than they made in 5 months?
And then they don't have to,
And we don't have to wait for the prints to get out. We don't have to, people can spend.
It's a lot cheaper to put it out.
A bad idea for those movie theaters to be saying, we're not going to show your stuff anymore.
Because we don't want theaters to go away.
I want them to be around. I love theaters. And I got to do one quick thing, even though we're already over time. Parks and Rec did a reunion. This is like a week ago, and I keep pushing the thing off because I keep running out of time. But they raised $3.5 million for charity, which is really cool. So Parks and Rec reunion did really a lot of stuff, way more than just entertain Americans, but they also helped Feeding America with COVID-19 Response Fund, which is awesome. Thanks for listening to your Big Screen, Little Screen report, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com.
We're here to make it better.
If you find that drug or alcohol problems are hitting you too close to home, you can get help. Maybe it's time for rehab. Your insurance may even cover everything. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. Get help for a drug or alcohol problem within 24 hours.
We're here to make it better.
Get more information at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Now your scoop of the day. It comes your way courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. A woman on Reddit recently asked for advice on whether or not she should change her daughter's name. Hey, this should have been a Dear John letter, by the way.
Okay.
Don't you go asking people on Reddit when you could send it to me and I could give you the advice. So in a moment, I'm going to ask Heidi to give her advice on this. We're going to pretend it was a Dear John letter, even though it wasn't. So she goes on Reddit and she says, okay, my family's making fun of my daughter's name. They think that I should change her name. Her name is Elizabeth, but we call her Liz. And her middle name is Anna, or Anya. So her name is
Elizabeth Anya.
Lasagna.
Oh, lasagna.
Her family's been making fun of her for the name choice. And now it made it online. And nobody's been super nice about it. So she's probably going to change the daughter's name. Now she's going to most likely have to because of this Reddit post.
What does she want to change it to?
I don't know. Something like spaghetti? I have no clue. I don't have any ideas on that. But do you think she should change the kid's name?
No, because I'm sure she doesn't go by
Liz
lasagna
Anya.
at
And here's what she would do. Just don't call her Liz. Call her Elizabeth.
Right. Just call
Or
her Elizabeth.
Lizzie. Or there's so many other things you could do. But boy, the internet was not nice to her.
Yeah, depending on how old this kid is, you can't change her name all of a sudden.
Halfway through, yeah. Research shows smartphones are one of the most common distractions for parents. Hey, Heidi, over here. I'm talking now. Off the phone. Smartphones are one of the most common distractions for parents and caregivers to overcome while supervising children at playgrounds. And this is a really serious thing.
It is a serious thing.
It says caregivers were observed at playgrounds. Phones were involved in about 30% of distractions. Phones were not the top of the distraction list, though. That distraction goes to talking to other people. So chatting with somebody else, you're sitting there talking and talking. You look up, you're like, where are our kids?
Yep.
Our kids are gone. So phones were just a fraction behind that other distraction, though. Richard Hamilton was having a bad day. It was a Thursday. He didn't want to work. He thought, you know what? Everybody else gets to stay home. Why can't I stay home? So he decided, I'm going to call in a bomb threat. It's a bad idea. He works for a water treatment center. He was working there. There was a construction crew. Authorities revealed that Hamilton was charged with making a bomb threat during a coronavirus pandemic and national emergency. So he gets in a little special trouble for that. So bad plan. And the FDA has approved a coronavirus antibody that tests nearly perfect accuracy. So they say that they found an antibody test that is almost perfect, which is awesome news.
Yeah, it is.
Interesting story. I don't know where else to put it, so it's going to go right here. A tattoo artist in London has regularly been getting ink, like tattoos, since he was 18. But during the lockdown, his name Chris Woodhead, he's taken his love for ink to the next level by doing tattoos on himself every day.
Okay.
The 33-year-old said, I started tattooing myself every day to create some kind of structure to our now seemingly aimless days. It feels special that my body is evolving so much through the process. He said, I will continue until I run out of space completely. So,
good Lord.
There you go. I've had that for a while, too. Didn't know quite where to put it, but there it is. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
Do you pay too much for insurance? Have you looked around? Or are you too chicken? Don't be afraid to look around to see if you can find a better deal at InsuranceChicken.com. We make it super simple for you to see rates from several different companies, to see what they have to offer, all in one place. Peck out great insurance deals at InsuranceChicken.com. Is it time for you to cross the road? See if we can save you money each month at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
And it's time right now for Dear John Letters. And we got a Dear John letter this week from a small business owner, Heidi. And here it is. Dear John, I'm a small business owner. I have been very careful over the last few months to continue to operate in a very safe way. I'm not sure how to respond to some messages I've gotten lately. I've been called out for not closing down. We had every right to stay open. Yes, of course they did. We followed the CDC guidelines. We restricted some things and made many concessions to even be able to stay open. But we had rent due and many other bills.
Right.
We applied for the PPP thingy, but never even heard back. Also applied for the Small Business Administration loan and never heard back. My neighbors are never going to be able to reopen. They're so far behind on everything right now. We spoke this morning, and it made me very sad. Then I open Facebook, and I get all these rude messages. I'm just not sure how to reply, or should I reply at all? They say that they'll no longer support us, and I don't even recognize them as a customer. I want to be kind. That's just who I am. What do you think? Reply or delete and move on? Signed, Suffering Small Business. I'm going to yield the floor to Heidi for a moment here, because I think her answer will be really quick.
Reply. 2 words.
No. Would you
just 2. That's all you need.
So, move on. Is that what you're going to say? So here, I honestly do think that you should reply. And here's how I think you should reply. First of all, kind of explain some of the things that you're talking about here. And say, be very kind, because it says you want to be kind. I think that's important as well. First of all, thank them for their letter. Say thank you very much, or not a letter, but their message. Thank you for sending a message. I appreciate the fact that you took the time. And then make sure that you let them know the reason that we were still open is because, and I don't know what their business is, but I'm assuming it's something that there was a demand of some kind if they were still open.
Yeah, the demand is they have bills to pay. That's the demand.
But I'm also saying whatever it is that they were doing, there had to be a reason that they were still open, and if people were still going there.
Yeah, the reason is this is America, and you can operate your business in the United States of America. You have the right to own a business. You have the right to operate. You don't owe an explanation to anybody.
Well, I think that you should respond very nicely, very kindly, and then, again, just through all of it, be polite, because it says you want to be kind. And then tell them if you choose not to do business here anymore, I would be very sad that you move on, but we also understand and appreciate your opinion on this. And then, you'll feel better. If you just click delete and move on, I think that's going to be the wrong thing. And then they're going to, if they're not satisfied with that, they're going to just be rude in a more public place. If they just sent a message to you, a private message, I don't know, maybe it was a post on their page.
It was probably on their page. That's
I have no
the way
idea.
those people act.
Would you just calm down? Calm down. Heidi, take a deep
just
breath.
Post a picture of the American flag. You don't need to say a word.
Where's your microphone button? Take care of this problem once and for all. No, I think that, again, I appreciate you sending me a message about this, and I'm glad that you think that we would have some wonderful insight. And after hearing Heidi, I hope you'll continue to listen. She's just trying to stand up for you, that's all. But and I can tell you this, we have been picked on before. And the way that Heidi wants to respond is never the right answer. But I always try to take the time because I do appreciate it. If somebody reaches out and says something critical, I want to respond in a very positive way and say, first of all, thank you for listening. I love the fact you got a lot of choices out there. I don't know if you know this, but this is not the only radio station. There are a bunch of them. But you chose to listen to this one. And I appreciate that so much. And everybody involved here appreciates the fact that you're listening. So, of course, we're going to be nice to you. So, again, in this message here that you're responding, be super kind, because if they want to make a screenshot of this and post it somewhere, don't type anything you're going to feel stupid about later. Because I've seen people do that. They respond too quickly, and they respond with their heart. They're all worked up. They don't think it through. And then later, when it gets a screenshot and gets posted online, they're like, "Oh, I shouldn't have said that." So I'm not pointing at you. Because even if you did, you'd say, I'm proud of it.
I wouldn't be ashamed.
Now, if you'd like to chime in and give some advice to suffering small business, you can do that on our Facebook page. We posted it yesterday. You'll see it there right at the top of the page at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Many people have dabbled in the stock market for their very first time ever this year. If you're new to the market, but you don't want to learn things the hard way and the expensive way, I encourage you to subscribe to this free newsletter. You can get the inside track with Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com. Subscribe for free. If you change your mind, just unsubscribe. Sign up for free right now at marketbeatminute.com. That's marketbeatminute.com. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
America's first bank robber deposited the money right back into the same bank.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. August 1st, 1798, $162,821 was stolen from the bank vault at the Bank of Philadelphia. That's a lot of dough now, but in 1798,
That was a
whole
ton.
lot. No sign of forced entry, so they thought it must be an inside job. Patrick Lyon was imprisoned as the prime suspect, as he had been the carpenter that worked on the vault doors. But then they realized a man by the name of Isaac Davis had been depositing large sums of money right back into the bank. Turns out he was one of the robbers involved. In 1799, Lyon, the guy who was falsely imprisoned, was let out, and Davis ended up repaying the money, didn't have to serve a single day in jail.
Really?
Yeah. How crazy is that? That is today's fun fact.
Some credit cards have really high rates or big annual fees. Usually, people sign up for these when it's all they qualify for. If that sounds like you, it may be time to get a better credit card. Over time, your situation changes, and you may qualify for a better credit card. Your current card hopes you don't think about it, but our site shows you many options to see if there's a better credit card for you. Check it out for free at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Now, a news headline from somewhere in this world, Dateline Germany. I already told this to Heidi because I laughed so hard. She's like, what are you laughing about? This is just a crazy story. In Germany, a man offered assistance to a guy whose car was broken down on the side of the highway. The man offered to attach a tow rope to the other guy and then, hey, we'll just pull you to a service station. That sounds nice.
It does.
But then the guy in the car up front decided, I'm going to go fast. He was going over 100 miles an hour. The guy being towed was trapped in his car. All he could do was flash his lights and honk his horn. Eventually, he caught the attention of other drivers, at least one, who called the police. And they forced the tow guy to slow down. 100 miles an hour
Can
being
you
towed.
imagine
No, I cannot.
being in the back car? And if he would have to stop,
Oh, yeah. That would have been bad.
it would have been horrible.
Terrible. I laughed so hard because it's so ridiculous, but do not try that at home. This is a news headline from somewhere in this world.
We're here to make it better.
If you find that drug or alcohol problems are hitting you too close to home, you can get help. Maybe it's time for rehab. Your insurance may even cover everything. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. Get help for a drug or alcohol problem within 24 hours.
We're here to make it better.
Get more information at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Now some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. A dark hooded figure may soon be descending on Florida beaches. You might know him as the Grim Reaper.
Okay.
Let me explain what's going on. He's hoping to scare away beachgoers flocking to the sand amid the coronavirus pandemic. So Daniel Ufelder, he's an attorney at Santa Rosa. He plans to dress up as the Grim Reaper, shrouded in a black robe and wielding a terrifying Sith. Is that how you say that?
I don't
Sign?
think that's probably going to work.
And he's hoping the menacing getup will ward off visitors to the Sunshine State from their beaches and their parks. He says, many of you have asked if I am willing to travel around Florida wearing a Grim Reaper attire to the beaches and other areas in the state opening prematurely. The answer is absolutely yes. Who has asked you to do this?
Right?
According to the latest available data, they say that more than 33,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19 and more than 1,200 deaths. So by no means is this like a light-hearted thing, and 5,400 hospitalizations. But do you think that's really going to help?
I think he just wants to hang out at the beach, and he's using that as an excuse.
It's like, you should not go to the beach, but I'm at the
I
beach.
will be there all day.
I'm wearing a
every
Speedo under
day.
this robe. That's just a weird story. That's why it's today's Weird News.
John and
Now your moment of duh, brought to you by InsuranceChicken.com. An Idaho man turned his quarantine fatigue into a need for speed. He was arrested driving on a closed Florida beach during the lockdown. Now, keep in mind, he's from Idaho, so we can't say a Florida man. It's an Idaho man in Florida.
Sure.
But this is so much a Florida man kind of thing. 25-year-old John McGarry led police on a 35-mile-per-hour chase, which doesn't sound like that fast, but they're on Sand Key Beach. They're driving 35 miles an hour on a beach, part of Clearwater Beach. Bystanders spotted him taking a spin on the sand. Officers eventually arrest him when he tried to flee the beach through a local hotel parking lot. It says, even though the beach is clear right now, it is still illegal to drive on the beach. That did not deter him from the joyride, embracing his, quote, inner Florida man, end quote. See? That's what I say. The Idaho native told officers he did it because, quote, he was bored. He was charged with reckless driving, resisting arrest without violence, and driving with a suspended license. So there you go.
It's all good.
Yeah, that is today's moment of duh.
Do you pay too much for insurance? Have you looked around? Or are you too chicken? Don't be afraid to look around to see if you can find a better deal at InsuranceChicken.com. We make it super simple for you to see rates from several different companies, to see what they have to offer, all in one place. Peck out great insurance deals at InsuranceChicken.com. Is it time for you to cross the road? See if we can save you money each month at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Time now for Fake News or Florida. Heidi, tell me, is this a true story from the great state of Florida, like we've had several so far during the program, or is it hashtag fake news made up to trick you and amuse me?
All right,
tell me. Fake news or Florida? Florida man arrested for trying to quarantine on Disney's private island. Fake news or Florida?
I'm going to say fake news.
It's a true story.
Oh, my gosh.
He was on a private Disney island. He was fined $1,000 because he wasn't supposed to be there.
That's hilarious.
We just read about a guy that jumped the fence and was going, was it Disneyland or Disney World or Disney?
I thought it was Disney World.
I don't remember which one, but he jumped the fence and went to Disney somewhere. So, yeah, don't do that. It's a bad idea. I'm just saying, it is not going to end well. There's a documentary.
That was a good idea. He would have been quarantined. He would have had his own little island.
A documentary about this. It's called National Lampoon's Vacation. Wally World is closed.
It didn't end well.
Didn't end well when they went in anyway. So, bad plan. It's fake news or Florida?
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. It comes your way courtesy of hashtag gift card challenge. More details can be found at giftcardchallenge.org. This is a cool story. Kroger, big grocery store chain, they buy and redirect dairy farmers' surplus milk to food banks.
Well, and it should be.
Oh, yeah. So there are dairies all over the place. Right now they're struggling because they're like, okay,
they're
we've
dumping
got
it out.
all of this milk. What do we do with this milk?
Yeah.
So Kroger announced that the company will be donating 200,000 gallons of milk to food banks across the United States.
Yeah, that's amazing.
The Kroger family of companies announced the launch of an expanded dairy rescue program. It's designed to support children and families during the COVID-19 pandemic through the summer months in partnership with dairy cooperative suppliers and farmers across the Midwest and the South. They're going to process and donate about 200,000 gallons of additional milk to Feeding America food banks and community organizations through the end of August, uplifting their Zero Hunger, Zero Waste initiative. This is just a great thing.
It is.
Kroger recognizes the growing need for fresh, highly nutritious food in our community, especially for children, as school remains closed during the pandemic to flatten the curve. Kroger's group vice president said, at a time when dairy farmers have surplus raw milk, we're doubling down on our mission to reduce hunger and to reduce waste. It's a really cool thing. There's a lower demand due to the coronavirus. So it says dairy farmers across the country, they're dumping milk. because they have this milk stacking up where they're like, we don't really have a place to store this. We don't know what to do with this. So instead of dumping it, now they're donating it, which I think is going to be just a really good idea. Really good idea. They've already donated 129,900 gallons so far just this last year. And now they're adding another 200,000 on top of that. So it's a cool thing. And kudos to Kroger's. So there you go. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show.